Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to have a look at the summary of Debbie, Sandy and Pepe. We'll also be taking a look at some of the themes, literary devices, as well as some questions and answers. So stay to the end of this video. Debbie, Sandy and Pepe summary. Debbie found a baby bed beside her house. She called her sister Sandy to have a look. They tried to find its nest, but they couldn't find it. They decided to take care of it themselves. Taking care of the baby bed. They chose an old letterbox as a nest for the baby bed. They also tried to find its food such as seeds, insects, grass, and even chocolate. They told their mom they wanted to keep it in a cage if it grows up. Their mom's response was, "Bears are happier outside, being free." Plans for Pepe at school. Debbie cared so much for the bed. She gave it a name, Pepe. She couldn't even concentrate in class because she was thinking about the bed. At school, they spent the afternoon looking for food such as seeds, insects, grass, and worms. Debbie told her teacher, Miss Atkins, all about the bed. Debbie and Sandra were in a hurry to go home and take care of the bed. Pepe couldn't survive. Unfortunately, the baby bed had died when they reached home. It was sad news, but Debbie was more compassionate about Pepe's death than Sandra. She even blamed Sandra for Pepe's death because she gave it chocolate. Debbie felt very sad. Debbie's heart was broken when Pepe died. Her mom tried to console her, but she still felt depressed. Later, she asked her mom, "Do bears go to heaven, Mom?" But her mom didn't have an answer to the question. Debbie was finally free. The burden of Pepe's death was taken away from Debbie when Debbie found a photograph which read, "Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies? Yet not one of them is forgotten by God." The Bible quotation convinced Debbie that she was not the only one who cared for the baby bed, but God also cared for it. Her sadness was gone. She was in a good mood again. Now, this is the summary of Debbie, Sandy, and Pepe. Let us move on straight into some of the themes in the short story. Theme number 1. We have God loves and cares for all His creation. According to the quotation in the Bible, Debbie was assured that she was not the only one who cared for the bed. Theme number 2. We should worry less about things we cannot change. Debbie got so upset when the baby bed died, it took away all her joy. She overreacted and even blamed Sandra. Theme number 3. People react differently to situations in life. While Debbie was compassionate and sensitive about Pepe's death, Sandra was less sensitive. Okay, so that is the end of our themes for the short story. Let's move on quickly into some literary devices. We have personification. An example is, "We'll make a soft nest for him and feed him." In this example, him is referring to the baby bed, that is Pepe. We have onomatopoeia, and some of the examples in the story are: 1. Poor little thing, crooned Debbie as she stroked the shivering bundle. 2. Perhaps he fluttered here from somewhere else. Simile. Some of the examples of simile in the story are: it looks like yellow plastic. And 2. She wriggled her finger like a worm. Now let us move on to alliteration. Example is: Debbie put her hands on her hips. Let's move on to hyperbole. Our first example is: I've been waiting for ages. Then the second one is: so many birds, millions of them. The last literal device is imagery. And the example is: Sandra looked doubtfully at the writhing mass of worms, busily trying to tie themselves in knots. Now let us move on straight into some of the questions and answers in the short story. Question number 1. Why did Debbie name the bird Pepe? The possible answer is: because it made a sound like that. Question 2. According to the story, what role did birds play during the war? And the answer is: they were used to send messages to soldiers. Question 3. Contrast the character of Debbie and Sandra, showing their different emotions. And the possible answer is: Debbie is an emotional and sensitive person, while Sandra is less emotional towards issues. Question 4. Which literary device can be found in the sentence: she wriggled her finger like a worm, and the little creature snapped harmlessly at her? And the possible answer is simile. Question number 5. What is the theme of this story? And the possible answer is: God loves and caters for all his creation. Question 6. Why did Debbie think Sandra had killed the bird? What character trait does this portray about Debbie? And the answer is that because she gave her chocolate. Her character trait is pushing blame on people. Question number 7. Describe the photograph that was on the calendar when Debbie turned it over. And the answer is a countryside scene. Question number 8. Why did Debbie become happy after reading the Bible quotation? And the answer is she became assured that Pepe would be okay. Question number 9. Who gave the name Pepe to the baby bird? And the answer is Debbie. Question 10. State the Bible quotation that was on the calendar when Debbie turned it over. What does this quotation suggest about a theme for this story? And the answer is, are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies? It suggested that God still loved and cared for the bird. Question 11. And Sandra stamped angrily inside. What literary device can be found in this sentence fragment? And we have two literary devices. The answer is onomatopoeia and alliteration. Question number 12. What do you know about mother? And the answer is, their mom was kind-hearted and thoughtful towards her children. Question 13. Mention 3 examples of literary devices in the story. We have personification, simile, and alliteration. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. You can ask any question you may have, and I'll try my best to answer it in the comment section. Until we meet again, goodbye.